The modern reality of slavery, a psychological and social phenomenon. 1. Introduction to modern slavery. Have you ever stopped to think about how free you really are? You might be shocked to learn that modern slavery isn't what you think. It's a psychological game, and you're playing it without even realizing it. Stay tuned to find out how government and corporations have been manipulating you and how you can break free. Slavery, once defined by physical coercion and overt oppression, has evolved into a more insidious form in modern society. Today, it is often psychological and systemic, with individuals unknowingly participating in their own subjugation. Instead of physical chains, psychological tactics and social programming are used to create a compliant populace. Understanding this shift is crucial for recognizing how modern systems of control operate. Footnote: this section highlights the evolution of slavery from physical force to psychological manipulation, wherein individuals unknowingly contribute to their own subjugation. 2. The historical context of slavery. Slavery was not always about race, it was primarily about power and control. Historically, many different groups, including Africans, were subjected to slavery. In the 1700s, for instance, wealthy plantation owners employed brutal psychological tactics to maintain control over their slaves. These tactics were not limited to physical violence but included psychological conditioning, particularly within the family unit, ensuring that the desire for freedom was systematically crushed. This led to generational cycles of obedience and compliance. Footnote: this section emphasizes the psychological methods historically used to enforce slavery, demonstrating that it was not solely a racial issue but a matter of power dynamics. 3. The modern plantation, government and corporations. In the modern era, the roles of the slave master and slave have changed but remain deeply ingrained in society. The state, law enforcement, media, banks, and corporations now serve as the new plantation owners, with individuals often becoming passive participants in their own subjugation. The mechanisms of control, including taxation, legal regulations, and media influence, ensure that the general populace remains compliant and dependent, much like the slaves of old, but under the guise of legal and economic systems. Footnote: this section highlights the shift from traditional forms of slavery to a more complex system of control involving government, law enforcement, and corporations working together to maintain the status quo. 4. The role of women in enforcing compliance. In societies governed by centralized power, the role of women has often been to enforce compliance within the family structure. Women, more likely to adhere to rules and regulations, have historically exerted influence over men, pushing them toward conformity. While this behavior was once essential for societal survival, in modern contexts, it has been co-opted by the state to maintain control. The state has weaponized this influence to ensure that men, particularly, do not stray too far from societal expectations. Footnote: this section discusses the role of women in reinforcing societal norms and the way this natural inclination has been manipulated to support state control, particularly in maintaining the conformity of men. 5. The consequences of compliance, psychological slavery. When individuals blindly adhere to state-imposed rules, they forfeit their autonomy and freedom. This phenomenon is known as psychological slavery. Compliance with rules, often made by unseen and unaccountable powers, leads to a lack of personal agency, as individuals fail to question or challenge the authority dictating their lives. This form of slavery is more dangerous because it is invisible, yet pervasive, in modern societies. Footnote: this section addresses the consequences of compliance, emphasizing how unquestioning adherence to rules leads to psychological slavery, where individuals lose their autonomy. 6. The role of media and social conditioning. The media and state-controlled institutions are pivotal in maintaining the system of control. Through constant propaganda and social conditioning, individuals are led to believe in the necessity of compliance. The media, in particular, plays a significant role in reinforcing the idea that the state is a benevolent protector and that the rules established by those in power are for the greater good. This widespread conditioning normalizes submission to authority, stifling individual thought and action. Footnote: this section discusses the powerful role of media and social conditioning in perpetuating the idea of compliance and the unchallenged authority of the state, thus contributing to psychological slavery. 7. Breaking the chains, path to personal sovereignty. To escape this cycle of control and subjugation, individuals must reclaim their personal sovereignty. This begins with questioning authority, refusing to comply with unjust laws, and resisting the psychological conditioning that binds us. True freedom can only be achieved when individuals cease to accept the status quo and begin asserting their rights and autonomy. It is essential to recognize the power that lies within each person and to reject the false security that the state offers in exchange for compliance. Footnote: this section provides a roadmap for breaking free from psychological slavery, emphasizing the importance of reclaiming personal sovereignty and resisting the power structures that seek to control individuals. 8. Conclusion: the power of individual action. Ultimately, the shift toward individual sovereignty requires personal action and societal change. It is imperative that individuals recognize the role they play in their own subjugation and take steps to free themselves from the chains of compliance. Whether through education, resistance, or personal reflection, the journey toward freedom begins with the decision to reject the notion that power must be held by a select few. The future of humanity lies in the hands of those who choose to think independently, act courageously, and live authentically. Footnote: this section underscores the importance of individual action in breaking free from the systemic control of government and corporations, ultimately leading to true freedom and sovereignty. Now that you know the truth about the forces controlling you, what will you do about it? Reclaim your power and start making decisions for yourself. Don't let anyone dictate your life, break the chains, and take control of your future. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this vital information with others who need to hear it.